Well, hello, hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? This is the S. Anthony Thomas. This is the S. Anthony Says podcast, episode number 480. And today we're going to talk about Airbag Friends. You're going to know what I'm talking about. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Are you ready? Cool. Now, I'll explain what I'm talking about right now. I was watching a video, and it was a video on levels of wealth, and it was watching basically what rich people do. And the more rich a person gets, the more powerful they get, the more they delegate things out to people around them. You know, they got assistants and staff and all of that kind of crap. And everybody around them has to do what they say and has to be on their P's and Q's. They can't critique them at all. And all you have around you at that point are yes people. Oh, that's fantastic. I love the way you picked up that fork, put it in the food, and then put the food in your mouth. You're a genius. You know what I'm talking about, right? But I saw one particular rich person who shall remain nameless. And this guy was doing some things that from the outside looking in look really good. Right? Everybody loved him. People either loved him or didn't give a crap. Nobody really hated the guy. You know, I mean, there's also a few haters here and there, but nobody that you really pay attention to, or not an amount of haters that you wouldn't pay attention to. And he kept becoming more successful and more successful. It was almost like it couldn't stop. It was almost like he had the Midas touch. But then again, he didn't. See, what happens is people always say that alcohol and anger will reveal who you actually are. And I'm saying that may be true, but if you have to add something to that list, I'd have to say money and power. They will reveal who you really are. If you had a rough childhood, if things were bad for you, right? Say you had to catch the bus and everybody else you knew had a car or whatever. The second you become wealthy, rich, powerful, what do? You buy 50 of the most expensive cars because you're a billionaire now, dag nabbit, and you can afford it. You do it, right? If you had a guy that was a bit of a geek and he couldn't get any girlfriends, the second he becomes rich and powerful, what's the first thing he does? Exactly. He overindulges in that area. That's what happens. So it reveals character. So this particular person that I'm referring to, well, as soon as he became almost untouchable because of his wealth, he started to think that he could do no wrong. And he would have to think that's right because everybody around him is telling him he can't do any wrong. So maybe he can't do any wrong. Maybe he's awesome in every way. Maybe he should start giving his opinions on things where he has no expertise at all. Maybe he should start doing that, right? And the people around him tell him he's wrong. Ha, just kidding. No, they don't. But a lot of times when you get power like that, and you think you can do no wrong, you start to make dumb decisions. And those dumb decisions start to take place in your life, right? You got a beautiful, wonderful wife with some great kids, but that secretary's ass looks like dessert, and I have to have a taste of that. And you hit on the secretary, right? And the secretary's like, what the heck? Right? And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, jiggy, boom, da boom, jiggy, jiggy. Now when she walks down the hallway, you're just picturing, not you, but the rich guy. He's just picturing her buttocks covered in whipped cream because the night before in that hotel, it was. And he got away with it. Nobody in the office knows what happened. His secretary is very, very smart. She's getting it on with him several times a week, but she's smart enough to keep her mouth shut. Oh, yeah, so now he's doing it. She kept her mouth shut. Not a problem. He goes into another office. There's a new hire. And, oh, she also looks like she would look good with whipped cream on her chest yummies. And he talks to her. He hits on her. She's with it. And now, all of a sudden, the first secretary he's getting it on with is wondering why 50% of his time is gone. She doesn't mind if he goes home to his wife, but what's going on here, right? And now when the other lady that he's hitting on and he's getting it on within the office, when she walks around, her chest yummies, he remembers, oh, the whipped cream on her chest yummies. Yeah, that's right. Now he's sleeping with two secretaries. But the second secretary isn't as closed-mouthed as the first secretary because the secretary finds about the first secretary. She thought she was the only secretary getting it on with him. And then she goes to the first secretary and tells her, and then they fight. A fight becomes big. It becomes big news. And all of a sudden his wife knows and divorces him. Why did he do that? Because he thought he could get away with it. He didn't have a friend that said, "Now, oh, bro, you got a good wife and good kids. Don't do that." Nope. He had yes men around him. They acted like they didn't see anything. It wasn't their place. Even his friends didn't say anything because he's the rich friend and they need to shut up because they want to go to the UFC and they want to go to the Super Bowl and they want to be given fake jobs that pay them 4 times what their salary was before their friend became rich. So they shut their punk mouths and don't tell him when he's being an idiot. And he winds up losing half of his net worth and 75% of the respect people had for him. He's now a laughing stock. Yes, he has money, well, half of it. But he didn't have any friends around him to tell him not to do stupid things. I have friends that will tell me if I'm doing stupid things. My friends, but they don't even wait till I do something stupid. If I'm even thinking about doing something stupid, hey, that's Anthony. Yeah, that's stupid, man. You know, right? And I do the same for them. See, I don't drink alcohol, which means I'm almost always, 98% of the time, when I hang out with my friends, I am the designated driver because I don't drink. And most of my friends are social drinkers. You know, they don't get drunk, but because I don't drink at all, it's always best that if I drive. But we did have a friend who drank a little bit too much. Right? We're like, hey, wait a minute now. And we tried to tell him, and he got mad. Hey, I'm a grown man. Don't you tell me what to do, man. Y'all my friends and everything, but y'all not my parents. We're like, yeah, your parents also told you. Well, that's not the point. Said your parents told you you're getting drunk too much, too. And we tried to tell him, and he wouldn't listen. He got so angry at us because it wasn't fun hanging out with him anymore. Because we knew he was going to get drunk. We knew he was going to get in trouble. We knew that we were going to have to keep him from getting in trouble. You know how many times this particular friend, I had to step in front of him before somebody was going to beat him down, right? Or drag him home, right? And send one of his relatives back to get his car, right? It got to the point where he didn't want to hang around us because we were giving him a hard time, trying to tell him what to do. But what happened was he left our protection. Now, we weren't like some tough guys or anything like that, but if there's one guy trying to fight your friend and 5 guys jump up and go, whoa, we'll take him out here. Don't worry about it. It's still protection, right? But he left our protection. And he went to another bar that we didn't go to, right? And, well, let's just say, how can I put it? I'm not going to say what happened to him at that bar, but it rhymes with got his ass kicked. Right? And why did that happen? Because he had friends who tried to help him out and he didn't listen. Don't have yes people around you. You got to have that one, at least one friend who can tell you when you're being an idiot. At least one person who can walk up to you no matter what your status and tell you you're being a fool. Right? They can be diplomatic about it. I tend to be diplomatic about it when I tell my friends they're a moron. But I still get the moron thought in their head, like, maybe I shouldn't do this. This is kind of dumb. Exactly. You got to have friends that are like an airbag in your car. Right? You got to have friends that are like a seatbelt or the brakes in your car. You got to have that. Right? It's like somebody telling you the truth. They're protecting you. Right? Hey, man. Be careful in that place, man. Those dudes are, man, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Oh, God, let me beaten up. Right? Hey, man, that particular person that you're trying to become in a romantic relationship with, they have a significant other that is, how can I put this, gonna whip your ass. Wait until she's free and clear. He's free and clear from that place, from that person. Make sure they're free and clear from that relationship. And it's been a while. I know you want them, but I'm telling you right now, it's more problems than you're worth. Oh, man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. I will date who I want. And what happens? Exactly. They come back to you. They rekindle the friendship 8, 9 months later, maybe a year later. And what do they tell you? I should have listened to you guys. Yes, you should have listened. If you had listened, you wouldn't have had to have gotten your windshield replaced 15 times. That's a lot of money. You're starting to take money out of your kids' college account because you're getting your tires slashed and your windows broken every 6 weeks, you stupid. You know what I'm saying, right? With the drunk friend, we never actually reconnected with that guy because he just started to get this really, really horrible reputation in the bars downtown. And people would look at us, and even though we weren't associated with him anymore, they